Have you wanted to add stringing to your furniture pieces, but you didn't know quite how to go about it? Today I want to show you how I cut stringing material for my projects. I'm just finishing this table build, and you can see where I have stringing around all my fan segments. Here, I'm using holly. If you can't find holly where you live, you can substitute with maple. Try to find some clear maple, and when you look through it, and after you're milling, some of it's going to be kind of yellowish, and some is going to be a more brighter white. Use the brighter white to give a real crisp looking bright line. And in my inlay. And some people use the bump method or mechanical stop method. And basically the fence is set to where the board comes up and rests against the mechanical stop. And then as the board is pushed through, the inlay stringing is cut by the saw and falls to the wayside of the blade. The mechanical stop sets the distance that the board can travel to the left, meaning that it sets the thickness of the inlay material. So from the edge of the blade to the edge of the stops is the thickness of the inlay material. Nothing wrong with this method. It's safe, it's proven, a lot of people use it. But I find that the stringing is not consistent throughout the thickness as when the blade is 1/16 of an inch or your desired setting from the fence. Now I like to measure my stringing with calipers because when you're putting a thin piece of stringing in a very thin groove or dado, when you apply the glue to the dado, it swells the wood immediately. So if your stringing is not consistent throughout, and I'm going to show you a method to help with that, then you will find that it grabs easily. It doesn't take long till you're in trouble. And your stringing is stuck. You can't get it out. And basically you have to scrap the workpiece to start over. So I want to show you how I cut my stringing and then how I gauge my stringing to the correct thickness. I have my blade set to my fence to cut 1/16 of an inch stringing. As I run my blade through the table saw, I will do so in a continuous motion. Try not to stop. But what's really important is the heel of my push stick will be in contact with my stringing the entire time as it passes the blade, so I don't receive any kickback from the blade. Let me show you how I go about that. Okay, I have my stringing Then I cut out the table saw. And what I want to do, I've got my cutting gauge set at 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to slice my stringing to have an end result of 1/8 by 1/16. And what I normally do is cut it on one side and then flip it over and make the cut on the back side. Now this is my thickness gauge. It's just a piece of scrap material. It doesn't have to be hardwood, but here I'm using a piece of cherry. It has a cleat on the back of it. You don't have to have that, but it's just the way I do it. But what you will see is it has several grooves in it. And I've had this one a long time. I've used both sides. But the grooves are different thickness. And the one on the end is a different width also. That's for a different method. I will show you that too. But this groove on the edge is a little deeper than the center groove. The center groove is set for 1/16 of an inch. And that's how I get a true 1/16 of an inch on my stringing after it comes off the table saw. I set it just over, a fraction over 1/16 of an inch on the table saw, and then I use my thickness gauge to gauge the thickness of the stringing to match the 1/16 diamond bit that I'm using on my router to plow the groove in my workpiece. I will start with the outside groove, the one that's deeper. Place my stringing to where I'm going to have it on the thickness side because it's going to go in the groove. So in other words, if that's the groove for my inlay, my stringing will go in like that. So I'm going to lay my stringing down. And pull through. When I get it to where it no longer takes a shaving here, and as you will notice, I'm thicknessing my stringing to get it at the right thickness. And I'm going to do that a couple of times just to make sure that my thickness of my stringing is the exact 1/16 of an inch. Just by pulling it through, or either running the plane across it, either way, to get it the desired 1/16 thickness. So if I needed a small piece of stringing, such as one that would go around the fan, or either on one side, then what I would do is I would take a piece of stringing, the approximate size that I would need it, and now with this groove that I made with the bandsaw, I would stand the stringing up to verify that it is truly 1/16 of an inch. And if I needed to take the stringing down in this dimension, we cut our stringing, we've done our final thickness on our thickness block with our block plane, and then the height of the stringing, our desired height, we set it in our groove on our thickness block, and with the plane we've done that. So now the stringing is pliable and it's no larger than what it needs to be to help with the bending action, to be able to make bends such as the one on this fan, on this inlay. So if I wanted to bend my new stringing by going through these steps, it will allow the stringing to be pliable enough to make this radius. Here, that arc is a 2-inch radius, and I have no problem bending that. I don't have to heat the stringing. You can do that, nothing wrong with that. But for a 2-inch radius on a 1/16 stringing, you should be able to make that radius just off using your thickness block. Real easy. Mine's about 6 inches long, 2 3/4 wide. It has a cleat on it, just to help on the side of the bench. You don't have to have a cleat. You can put it in a vise, and it works the same in a vise. And when you plow your 1/16 groove with the router or whatever means, the stringing goes right in. It fits perfectly. You always want to leave it a little bit high, and then after the glue up, take a block plane, card scraper, a piece of sandpaper on the sanding block, and level it to the surface. Adding decoration to a tabletop, like this one, takes it from an ordinary top to an extraordinary top. I hope this video helps. If you found it helpful, I would really love if you would subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow my channel, and your subscription really counts. Like the video, share it, leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you guys. I'm Steve Gaskins with Fine Woodworking in South Carolina. Love and appreciate you guys. God bless.